Hi everyone, I'm Charles from a Stargazing Experience. Today we're gonna make some stargazing from my terrace over here. I know it's not as good as up on Teddy, nevertheless with the clear, beautiful sky we still can see a lot of stars. That's Tenerife, that's one of the best sky on the whole world. So welcome on a special edition of the Stargazing Experience, the quarantine edition of the Stargazing Experience from my terrace over here with the beautiful Canarian or even Tenerifian, because I'm on the south of Tenerife, a beautiful starry sky. Enjoy! Let's see what we can see from my terrace. Actually, it's a pretty nice sky tonight. I have a kind of great opening to the west side of our sky over here, and we can see several different things right now on the sky. Probably the most recognizable constellation for you on the sky, that will be a Orion constellation. That's over here. We can see his few stars quite kind of bright in here. For example, we can see two of his arms, one and another one in here. We can see two of his legs, one and a second one in here. The very famous three star in a one line, that will be an Orion's belt. The famous Orion's belt, perfectly visible from here, and below his belt we can see a three, maybe from here a kind of faint but still visible from here, three stars. That's an Orion sword. So the right arm of the Orion constellation visible from here as an orange star. Actually, it is an orange star. This star is classified as a red giant star. This star is about to explode. It's one of the stars that's on our sky visible that's about to explode anytime now. The red giant stadium of the star, it's a last stadium before this star gonna explode. Another bright star of the Orion, that's Rigel. Actually, a second brightest star in the Orion constellation. You can see it's absolutely different color. That's a regular star, so it's glowing and shining with a beautiful white or, if you want, a silver color. So we can see a big difference between Betelgeuse star and a regular star, so the Rigel, second brightest star in this very constellation. Orion is not only a very recognizable constellation on the sky, but it's also hiding many deep sky objects inside. For example, the very famous Great Nebula of Orion, which will be precisely in the middle of the Orion sword, the middle star of the Orion sword. That's a Great Nebula of Orion. But this is not the only one. We have a Horsehead Nebula inside there. We have a Flame Nebula. We have a Running Man Nebula. We have a whole molecular complex inside of the Orion's constellation. Some of those in a moment we're gonna take a picture. From the Orion constellation, when we're gonna look a little bit to the north, or let's say on our right hand, we're gonna follow to the right side. We're gonna see a very bright object that's visible right now. That's visible right now. For the next few weeks, I guess, will still gonna be visible over here. This very bright object is not actually a star. It's a planet. It's basically a planet. My dear, that's a Venus. Venus, a second planet from the Sun, visible over here. Venus is also known as a goddess of love, the meteorological goddess of love. It's shining upon our heads right now in this very difficult time. When you look from the Orion constellation to the left, we're gonna see a very bright star over here. It is a bright star. It's actually the brightest star on the sky. During whole year, you cannot find any star that will be brighter than this one. Do you know which star is that? Very good. That's Sirius. That's a Sirius star. It's a part of the Big Dog constellation. We can see it over here. The front paw of the dog is in here. We can see a body of the dog. We can see its back paw and a tail over here. From my terrace, we cannot see those stars, although on the Mount Stady, where the sky is clear and we don't have a light pollution, you're gonna see a few faint stars over here more or less in a round shape. That's gonna be a head of the big dog constellation. So Sirius, a brightest star on the sky, is also known as a dog star because it's a part of the big dog constellation. My big dog is actually over here, lying and sleeping in the late time. Let's see what the Orion constellation have inside. I was mentioning that there are several nebulas inside. A great nebula of Orion, the Horsehead Nebula, a Flame Nebula, a Burnham's Loop, for example. Let's see some of those objects. I'm going to use my robotic telescopes over here. That's an astrophotographic telescope, 6 inches, RC, so Rechet telescope with a modified camera for deep sky observations. Let's see what Orion has inside. As a start, we're gonna choose something from the Messier catalog, the most popular catalog, astronomical catalog, because Great Nebula of Orion has a number 42. So M42, we're gonna choose this object that will be a Great Nebula of Orion, the place when the new stars are rising. Let's see how does it look like. Telescope is set, camera is set, everything's in a position. Let's take a picture. My dear, for this very picture we're gonna choose a parameters a 30-second of the exposition and a high ISO 3200. So let's see what we can get. Maybe a few words during we are waiting the 30 seconds of the exposition. This telescope, it's a typical astrophotographic telescope. We don't use this telescope for optical observations. For optical observations, we have a different type of telescope, such as, for example, this one. That's a Newtonian type of the telescope, invention made of by the Newton. That's why Newtonian telescope. We have a parabolic mirror on the bottom, a secondary mirror over here, and the lens on the end. That's makes a construction of a Newtonian telescope. Picture is done, marvelous. Let's see what we get over here. Yes, yeah, picture is beautiful. Okay, let's zoom it a bit. My dear, what we can see a beautiful great nebula of Orion. You can see a round shape in here, a red with a red color. This nebula, basically, it's made of the big cloud of the hydrogen gas, the most simple and the most popular, common gas in a vast universe. Because of a gravitational field, they are forming huge clouds like this one and producing inside a new stars. The pressure inside of the enormous size cloud, it's so big that hydrogen atoms, they are bonding together, gluing together and forming a new star. This is not the only one nebula we get on this picture. Very close to the Great Nebula of Orion, I'm gonna zoom it to the brightest part of it, where new stars are actually right now are producing or being produced. Over here we have a smaller nebula over here. It's known as Running Man Nebula. As you see on the one picture, we can get two nebulas in here. Like I said before, a Orion constellation is full of the beautiful nebulas. I'm gonna download this picture to my computer, and we're gonna do some post-production on the computer so we can get even better image. Just give me a moment, I'll download this picture to my computer. But actually, instead of downloading this picture from my camera to a computer, I decided I'm gonna connect my camera with the computer and take another one picture so we can directly develop this picture. I'm using for now a software Nebulosity 4. It's not only for taking picture through the telescope, but it's also, or majorly, the software is for stacking pictures. This is what we are doing with a professional astrophotography. But let's see. Oh, let's take one. So actually, when we do a professional astrophotography, we do not take only one picture. We take many pictures of the same object, and we stack those pictures to raise the quality of this picture as much as it possible. Later, I'll show you some of our work. We also using filters during observation. That gives you a better view for inside of an object. Oh, beautiful! It's done. Let's see. My computer.
Series complete.
Okay. And here we are. A beautiful, great nebula of Orion. Let's see what else we can do with it to make it better. Yeah. I have just adjusted a background color that's remove a light pollution that we have over here from my terrace. As you see, background, yes, it's definitely better. We can see a higher contrast over here, a little bit stretching maybe, and we should be good for a presentation. Yes, we're gonna stretch a white colors in here, slightly power, and some blacks. Why not? Yeah, I guess that will be it. So right now we can easily see a shape of the nebula, the nearly round shape of the nebula. During a optical observation we can see only those two arches. Digital observation shows us more. Yes, the very bright part I was mentioning, this one, that's a part when the new stars right now are rising, a red cloudy hazy part over here. That's a big nebula, that's less dense hydrogen particles. A little bit above the small one over here, a running nebula, running man nebula, also made with the same elements as a bigger one over here. Let's see some more. Let's move our telescope for a different observation. This time we're gonna choose something from the NGC catalog. That's a new general catalog of astronomical catalog of the deep sky objects. We're gonna choose a number. Wait a minute. Yeah, NGC catalog at 2023. We are hoping to see a very famous nebula inside of the Orion constellation named Horsehead Nebula, but probably on the same picture we should see also a flame nebula and a part of the Bernard's Loop. And the picture is ready. So what we can see on the picture, the bright star over here, that's Alnitak, one of the star from the Orion's belt. I'll show you which one later on the picture. We can see a hazy thingy in here. That's a nebula. That's a flame nebula over here. A little bit even fainter over here, a little bit reddish color with the black spot in here. That will be a Horsehead Nebula. Let's see how we can develop this picture to see those objects even better. Yes, okay, marvelous. As you see, a flame nebula is already visible beautifully here on the picture, and part of the Bernard's Loop with the black gap, also the very famous Horsehead Nebula in here. Let's see if we can even develop this picture better. Maybe I'm gonna first of all turn this rotate image. Okay, so yeah, I flip the image at 180 degrees. And we would like to adjust the hue and the saturation. I'm gonna play right now a bit with the colors. This is not a professional astrophotography or developing pictures in here. Normally we take a let's say 50 and 100 pictures of each object, and we stack those. Just for the purpose of this presentation, I'm gonna play slightly with the sliders in here so you can see those two objects better on the single picture. So maybe we're gonna write saturation, yes, okay. Oh, a bit of down lights, how the hue will go. Yeah, marvelous. So a flame or a torch nebula over here with the high contrast, a part of the Bernard's loop also visible, and the black shape in here with the shape of the horse head. So let's see, maybe a little bit of different colors. We can play slightly as much as we want in here in the software to develop the perfect colors. Like I said, I'm doing this only for a purpose of this presentation. Yes, the horse head right now with a higher contrast. I already took many pictures of this object. We are still processing those pictures. Those are gigabytes and gigabytes of data, but soon we should present a beautiful pictures of those very objects with a professional developing. For tonight observation, that will be it. We have seen a few general sky objects, such as two constellation of the Orion, constellation of the Big Dog. We have seen a planet Venus. We did several digital observations, a few nebulas inside of the Orion constellation. We have seen a great nebula of Orion. We have seen a flame nebula. We have seen a running man nebula, horsehead nebula, and a part of the Bernard's loop. Next time, and then next clear skies, we're gonna do some more observation. We're gonna move to the other part of the sky and search for some new deep sky objects. So thank you for your attention, and see you soon on our next terrace stargazing experience.